So
What?
Talking about plumbers the other day.
Oh no. Oh
I'll
no.
have to show this off in a minute, but all trading involves substantial risk of loss, past performance, not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument or anything else, really. Don't even buy stuff from gurus like Jack and I unless you trust us. But if you trade stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries, basically any financial instrument, you might lose your money because 90% of people kind of do fail at this, especially when they go long options and long. I mean, it's a tough game. It's a tough game. So be careful out there. And if you want somebody to tell you what to do, there's people you can hire. I was joking about this morning. It'd be kind of a funny contest if I got with the new tenant downstairs and went into a contest about who could do better for a portfolio.
no comparison.
I bet I would come out ahead.
Well, they would, I would too bet you'd come out ahead, but they would bet that you could not beat the S&P.
Yeah, probably. I mean, shoot, I already
That's
am.
easy to
Like,
beat. I
I
know.
was
I
gonna
know. I
say.
know.
I
That's
don't think
their
the S&P
benchmark.
looks like this. So,
That's their benchmark, right? For their customer. That's all they got to do is tie or beat the SPY.
yeah,
And
see,
that's
I'm already coming
a
off
very
the
low
low
bar.
there. Already coming up off that pullback. So I'll have it back in a few days.
Yeah. Well, that makes it look more real.
And yeah, let me pull over this picture. I'll show you guys what I got into last night. The
Yeah, let's
shenanigans.
see it. What happened to your toilet?
I want a toilet. So, there's this big winter storm coming through, and God only
Oh yeah.
knows what's about to happen. I mean, um, if you let me pull up the what I just posted to Market Masters, uh, the channel here. If we listen to all the different stuff, there's bad weather coming, and this is basically what we know so far. So, I got a text message from my insurance company last night. Hey, if you have a hose hooked up, you're in the path of extreme cold weather. You might want to, take some action on that. I was like, all
Mm-hmm.
right. This was about 8 o'clock last night. So after I finished up dinner, I went out and tried to unhook the hose, and this is what happened. It broke clean off the house.
Oh, you unhooked the hose, all right. You
Now,
unhooked the entire thing.
was that from cold? It
No,
snapped off or just old?
that's just old rotten. It's not even PVC. It's actually CPVC, and it's so brittle. Um, it just crumbled when I tried to unhook the hose. And I when I grabbed the hose and it was this thing was actually screwed into the house, like it's a into a block wall, like it was not loose or anything like that. But when I grabbed the hose and started to untwist it, like I heard cracking sounds up under the house. I was like, that's not good. And then I heard like water sounds, so I ran inside and cut up. I have a main water cut off inside the house, so I ran inside, cut it off, and came back outside to proceed to try to pull this off, and the whole thing just came right off the side of the house. I was like, "Well, that's awesome." That was at basically like 8:25 last night. Home Depot closes at 9. I was in the
Yeah.
parking lot at Home Depot by 8:50.
Were you speeding in the Cybertruck? Did you just say,
I let the
oh,
Cybertruck drive me there.
yeah.
I said, "Take me to Home Depot." And
Oh my gosh.
yeah, I went. I had these fancy PVC cutters, and I took them under there. And when I put them on there, and it was clamping down to cut the CPVC, and it just split further down the pipe. I was like, this stuff is rotten. So I had to get out my multi-tool and actually like saw the end off of it in all my like 18-inch crawl space. I'm sitting there like, and I had what's crazy is two little CPVC caps cost me $1, but the glue to glue the stuff that on there was like $12 or something like that. I was like, God dang. Anyway,
A plumber would have charged you 3 grand.
I had that
Yeah.
purple. This arm right here was like purple all the way down, like where I spilled the cleaner on myself and that trying to get that put on there, and I had glue all over both hands. I'm still peeling glue off everywhere.
Plumber sounds better by the minute. Go ahead.
By 9:30, I was sitting back on the couch. Had it all taken care of.
Good job.
Oh man.
Anyway, so y'all
I'm
Wow.
glad
jinxed
you
me.
shared that. That's a good story. That's hey kids, that's why you be homeowners.
Right.
To have
Something's always
experiences like
going
that.
wrong. Yes.
Yeah.
When that thing came off the house, I was like, crap, what do I do now? It's like everything's closed.
That's
Oh
good. You know, I'm
man.
not allowed to fix anything around here. So, Mrs. Jack, if she catches me fixing, I'm in big trouble. Not allowed to handle tools or
And
any of that.
my
Oh,
kids say if it breaks, I can fix anything. So
You could. I know
yeah,
you could. You
yeah.
could have fixed that thing with a paper clip and some chewing gum.
yeah, I was sitting there debating whether I had a bolt big enough to just screw into the end of the pipe. That
Oh,
may have been the
that's
choice,
funny.
but anyway, yeah.
All because the insurance company texted you and told you to check your pipes or your
See?
Check,
spigots.
go check the hose. Yeah, I was like,
That, that
I bet there's a hose hooked up, and there
they
was.
almost caused a loss by telling you to
A
check.
claim.
Yeah. Oh
I tell
my
you what,
gosh.
it was super awesome under the house because it had sprayed water under there before I shut it off, and so it was a giant mud puddle I was laying in while I was doing all this pipe work. So
Nice and warm, huh?
it warmed my butt. Yeah, I'm just glad I put on coveralls before I did that. And I came back in, and Mrs. T was like, "You are muddy." I was like, "Yeah, I was laying in a mud puddle under the house."
Oh man.
Anyway, so fun times last night, and we'll
Yeah.
see. I guess we'll see what happens on there. Yeah.
It
So
holds up. Doesn't freeze over.
Let's
anyway.
hope.
It's just what is it, Otis or something like that's the name of the glue. Otis or it's Oatly. I guess it's Oatly is the name of the brand for the glue. It's the same PVC glue you get at, like every hardware store. So anyway,
Wow.
welcome to the show, everybody.
But yeah,
Yes.
welcome to Market Masters, where we'll teach you how to fix your spigot on your house and teach you how to
Plumbing.
trade the market.
Yes. Nothing we don't cover here.
That's right. The wheel, we generate
Dog
income.
training, everything.
Yeah.
uh, so I just put on a trade for my crypto power plays trade thing. I'm just gonna briefly talk about it because I know it's a trade you like to do, Jack. Um, especially on Tesla. You know,
What'd you do here?
you were talking about. So IBIT, Bitcoin, this breakdown below the lows has got me concerned that we're going to get some further downside here. Now, maybe it doesn't work. Like I give it like 70% chance this continuation pattern goes lower. And to take advantage of this, I came over to IBIT, of course, our weapon of choice for playing options.
Mm-hmm.
Has the same kind of the pattern going here where we broke down below the lows. And put the trend line in the right place. It tested the low once, twice, three times, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, and then now it's below it. So this is looking a little sketchy here for more downside continuation. Now, my play was to buy a 49 strike put and sell a 44 strike put down here. And it was CPVC is what that was, not PEX. CPVC is like the crappier version of PVC pipe. Just to answer the question in the chat there. So this trade looks like, and you could do this like on ETHA too if you wanted to, Ethereum, because it has the same kind of chart pattern. But I rolled out to the February expiration. 45, excuse me, 45 is where I bought the long. So I sold the 45. I bought the 49, expecting a downside move. It's a debit spread. At the moment when I did it, it cost me 84 cents. Now it's down to 76 cents. The upside max is like $3.20 or so, 3.24 right now. Difference in the strikes minus the debit. And if we get that further downside in the next month, this should pay out maybe 2x or 3x. if we don't get the move down, you might lose all your money. But the exposure here, 76 cents, instead of going up here and buying a put at like $1.95. Now, Bitcoin itself might have roughly, this is not a credit spread trade. This is not, generating credit. This is more of a directional trade. And instead of just buying straight puts, I'm going at it a little different. I think we could drop to 75,000 if we break down and make a new lower low than what we had here at Thanksgiving at 80,000. So somewhere in that 75,000 area is like a 15% downside. So rolling back over to IBIT, 15% downside takes us down to like 43, 42, 43. So that would completely take this in the money right
Yes,
there.
it would.
So that's my play right now. I put that out for my Crypto Power Plays subscribers in more detail, what I was actually looking to make and all that stuff. So there you go. So you can get it for 75, you can get it for 76, 77. I mean, it's, Bitcoin did take a little pop here in the last few minutes. So that makes that spread just a little cheaper. And it may not work. Like you may lose all your money here. Like
Let's
that.
take a quick look at the 6-month chart on IBIT.
Yeah, 6-month on IBIT. Zooming out.
Yeah. Not looking so good.
Yeah, the last 6
That's the last
months.
6 months right there.
Yeah, look at that big nasty step down there.
That's just
Yep.
a little hope rally right there. This looks lower. Yep.
Yeah, I mean that, like I said, it broke down below the uptrend of lows, and that's usually like 70% of the time we will see continuation lower. So that's really what I was going for. Buy a 49 put, sell a 45 put. May not work out. There you go.
This has been a real disappointment, sufficiently bumming people out. I thought that IBIT or Bitcoin in general was supposed to keep pace with gold, but I heard a lot of that talk, and that's not at all the case.
And that's the tool I was using to measure was date and price range tool. Gives you the percent moves, and it gives you all that statistics on a move, like how many bars, how many days, because the candle maker isn't open for equities during the weekend, so bars and days are different on the daily chart, and it gives you a percent move and a point move and all that sort of stuff. So I use this all the time to kind of compare moves. Now, why would I do that instead of just measuring on IBIT? Because IBIT doesn't have data on Saturdays and Sundays. Bitcoin trades 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, never sleeps, no holidays, no off days. So I use this as my measure. Now, the risk here is that come tomorrow, Bitcoin takes a spill, ends up down here. Sunday, we take a rip. Come Monday morning, we did the dip, and our put spread never got the chance to make any money
Because the market was closed.
because the market was closed. So that's the downside potential here. Doing this with options that are bound by normal market hours, and Bitcoin trades 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So that's one of the downside risks. Is this whole move could happen while the options market's closed, and you not be able to take advantage of the price move.
Small price to pay rather than trying to do this on a Bitcoin platform. Those things are terrible and expensive.
Yeah. So I'd rather just, take my little shot. I put a couple $100 risk at it. I'm not going big. This is not like I'm trying to make the year's worth of money on this thing or anything like that. Just a few $100 risk, it's like risking $200 to try to make, maybe $600 or something like that. That 3x return. Like for when I got in, something like 321 was the max profit I could make. I may get out at like 250, maybe $2 even.
Got a question about the strikes. Why so wide?
To make some money.
Yeah. So explain that. When you do a debit spread,
let me grab a calculator. Let me grab a calculator just to kind of show. So you buy just a put, unlimited profit potential, right? but it's going to cost you $1.94 right now to buy, $1.95, $1.97 just to buy a put. So you need a move down to 49 just to be break even. Well, I'm already down at 49. And then, if this is going to play out and we go even further down, you start making money. It's great. If you want to put 200 bucks at it, you can play one, right? That's
That's a
okay.
high price to pay, relatively speaking, though, saying, just telling you guys.
Yeah. And I was out to February 28th, it has about a month to go. And now for the one I played, we were just talking about this and the cost here. Right now, 77 cents. So if you look at it, it's a $4 wide, $4 wide minus 77. So it's the max profit, 323 right now at 77 cents. And divide that by 77. That's a 419% potential return.
The other thing this does, folks, is it lowers your cost. So he can get in for 77 bucks instead of 197, right? And he still has tremendous upside. So he didn't cap it by enough to ruin the trade.
And why not a $3 spread? Well, you could do a $3 spread. Why not a $6 spread? You could do a $6 spread. Just I kind of with the move I expected it to make, and the potential time frame and the cost out of pocket, this kind of looked like kind of a sweet spot, right around 400% potential ROI.
And you're giving yourself good time here. This is what, February 20th? So you've got plenty of time. This isn't like the normal short-term weekly or couple day stuff. This is he's given himself plenty of time to hit this goal. I
Now,
like this trade.
now Bitcoin could go ripping right back up to the resistance we've been at several times. So why not play like a bear call spread? I see in the question, because I don't want to get blown out of that thing. Like the risk reward is all backwards on a bear debit spread. I'm not
Yeah.
necessarily betting that I'm not betting big that Bitcoin can fall. But if you came in and did like a bear debit spread, or bear call spread, bear credit spread, excuse me, get my words right. You've got to sell the closer to the money, buy something further out. You can make the 76 right there, but that's the most you can make.
That's a tougher proposition too.
And if this goes blowing through, then I just lost 200. I lost more money than I was risking over here to make less money than I'm making over here.
A
If it
debit
blew up.
spread there's no upside with a credit spread. The most you're going to make on a credit spread is when you put the trade on. So debit spread, you can make 4 or 5 times your money. Credit spread, you cannot do that. You're only going to be making, 10, 5, 10, 20% tops
If I
without
was
taking way too much risk.
if I was absolutely convinced it was going down, there's no case where I would play the bear credit spread except to potentially finance a debit spread or finance a put. And it just doesn't make sense to me with the risk that's
No.
involved.
Plus, you've got to to do a bear call spread, you've got to have a cleaner downtrend
Yeah,
than
this
this.
is
This is not high probability, for a credit spread, it's not a high probability trade that I would do.
I'm feeling 70% for the downside, but that leaves 30% we might just go ripping. And 30% to blow out, and lose like 200, 300 bucks. That didn't sound good to me. 70% to make 3 or 400%. Check. So I can risk a little and potentially make 3 to 400%. Or I
Right.
could risk a lot and make a little if I'm
That's what I
wrong.
do.
And
I risk a lot to make a little, but I set myself up with a higher probability on a credit spread. This makes more sense for a debit spread. You got less in the trade. A credit spread would cost you way more capital to put at work. This, he's under 200 bucks. That's a really good trade. I'm going to do the same thing when we get done, just so everybody knows.
yeah, I'm not trying to generate cash flow on this one. I'm just trying
No,
to take advantage of a potential downside to
right.
protect the cash flow that I've been doing. Now, when we get down here, I'm going to sell a put. It's, it's
Yeah.
I've got some crypto long exposure that I'm not going to close. This is to kind of protect that. And if we get the move down to a lower low, I'm going to be selling a put down in here, either 44 or 42 likely. That 15% downside takes us right down into that 43 area. So between 42 and 44, that would be my sweet spot to sell a put, accumulate some more shares. We'll probably get a bounce back up to a 618 at least. Even if we're in crypto winter, we'll probably get a nice bounce that'll last a few months. That can get me some cash flow and upside. And then we may take another down spill. But that's kind of my operation plan right there.
Yeah.
We
Now,
talk about cash flow and IBIT all the time, and I thought this was, related. It's not generating credit on it, but it is kind of playing the hand you're dealt on IBIT.
now another angle on this, Vern, is if you wanted to create cash flow on this, you could sell a cash secured put at say 46. That would require $4,600 capital, and you could bring in. You sell that 46 strike price put, you'd bring in 51 bucks, 52 bucks.
Yeah, and that'd be right down there near the bottom. Now, the only downside is we might dip on down into the 42, 43. So you could come on down there just a little bit, like
That's a
43.
beautiful thing about this is when you have $1 increments in strikes rather than $5 increments. There's even 50-cent increments there at 48.50 to 49. But when you have 50-cent increments or dollar increments, it makes it real easy to kind of pinpoint what you want to do as opposed to a $5 increment in strikes, which is much more difficult to work with. This is a really good opportunity for cash flow right here. There's a couple others
I just
out
let me
there
pull
as
up
well.
give me 1 second to load the PXO platform. We'll show the ROIs on these potentials right here.
Mm-hmm.
If it's gonna load. Come on, load. Go. Go, PowerX, go. There we go. Seems to be busy right about this time of day, every day.
Yeah, I know. Mine's wiggly getting in too.
All right. We're down here. We're selling puts. IBIT right there. We were talking about going out to the February 20 expiration. Let's get some puts. Pull it up here where we can see yeah, so we're normally talking about a 40% ROI, so that's going to be in that 50 area, but that's not providing much downside. So when you get down there in the 46, we're only talking about a 14% annualized ROI, and on down in there 43, 42 is only 7%. So in my way with the debit spread, I make like 300% on the way down, 300% on the way down, and then I can sell the put and probably get more like 40% ROI down there by waiting to sell the put. But you can sell the put in the meantime. I mean, in the meantime and in between time, it's just it's how I choose to play. Can't really explain all of it. It's just like I have a feeling we're gonna drop. Maybe the feeling's wrong. Maybe we pop. Um, somebody was betting a tattoo on their butt that Bitcoin was going to hit 140,000 later on this year. Um, I mean, that's what makes a market. People are bullish, people are bearish,
Right.
and this is the way I'm playing. You don't have to do it. I'm just showing off what I'm doing.
Creating,
I actually put that on there. So
I like this one. Every now and then, you add a different type of trade. This is not creating cash flow when you do a debit spread because you're paying to get in it. That's why it's a debit. But you can create cash flow. Vern, I see Vern asking that by selling a cash secured put on a stock that you would want to own. And then if you get the shares put to you, I think that's a gift. You could turn around and either sell the stock or sell calls against that, and you lower your cost basis every time you sell a call against it. So that's kind of the name of the game. This debit spread trade is just kind of a one off, kind of out of 95% of the stuff is probably cash secured or covered calls or cash generating trades, cash flow trades. And then every now and then you take a directional trade like silver or whatever we're doing.
it holds. Somebody said, well, it seems to hold 85. It does until it doesn't. And if you don't think it's going down there, don't don't do the debit spread. I mean, that's simple, simple as that. If you think it's going higher, you could do a call debit spread. I mean, if you want to fade me, play the upside. That's what makes a
Yep.
market.
That's what makes a market.
I'm not saying anybody should do this trade. Like, I'm just sharing something I'm doing and explaining it. That's, we can sit here and debate the market all day. I get things right more than I get them wrong.
That's
This
it.
is this is how I make chunks of money is I take little calculated shots. I only put like $200 at risk to try to make like $600. It's not like I put 20 grand at risk to try to make 60 grand or something like that. I'm not that confident in this. I'm not betting my house on it. I'm willing to put a little bit of money out there and see if it sticks. I just have a feeling that Bitcoin's going to take a downside, and I wanted to offset a little bit of that downside I'm going to take when it does it.
Yeah. I'm feeling the same way about silver.
Yeah, yeah. Silver's
But silver hasn't started down yet. So, I don't want to
rare.
have this thing rip my face off.
It's probably going to
But
120.
from here even,
Yeah,
that
look at
would
that.
be
That's that next fib line right there.
that would be a face ripper if you did a debit spread here. Uh yeah, to the downside here. It's going to come off fast and hard though. You think it can go straight to 120 from here?
Yeah, I mean it's got like that's 118.50 is the fib line right there. It blew through, the resistance was at 72. Once it got through 72, 120 or 118 was where it was probably going. So
Nothing can go straight up like that.
yeah, this is, last time it didn't end so well. This time is not going to be any different. It's not just going to come up here and park, and that's the new norm. It's going to take we're gonna like this is the new AI trade. Everybody was hyped on AI for a while. Nvidia always going up. Now it's gold and silver. And when
Yeah.
everybody's interest gets kind of worn out on this, these will pull back and we'll move on to something else.
I love this. Just from the naked eye, the trained eye, this guy has a short written all over it. So I did play the debit spread back at the 85. Um, if you guys remember that, it worked out good. I only made 20%. I got in for $50 per contract, got out at $60 per contract on that little wiggle down. But it turned hard against me. I'm glad I got out and locked into profit, but I'm looking to do the same thing again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only 20%. You can just write a check and send that 20% up here. I'll take care of it
Yeah, that's okay.
for
But like, I guess I meant only relative to, I
you.
was thinking I was going to make 50. But
Yeah. Yeah, I
is
was
that your
just
bell or my bell?
that's got to be yours, my man.
Okay, something
I got
happened.
everything silenced.
Something happened. I think I sold some NVIDIA calls. All right, I'll look at that later.
K in the chat, don't bet against me.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah,
I
no, I
tend to be
wouldn't.
right more than I'm wrong. I'm not trying to have a big head about it. I just tend to be right more than I'm wrong.
Mm.
I worked for years to get to that point. I used to be wrong a lot.
Yeah, so
And
you
I've been,
don't see a downside trade in this thing? I'm
not
the
yet.
only one.
Not yet.
Man,
It's going to explode like the Hindenburg, but it's got, I mean,
yeah, I got to see a tiny bit of weakness. I got to see it catch its breath before I strike. So I'm not doing it today. But man, I'm dying to get into this thing. I got to see the tiniest bit of slowdown, and I'm on it.
this was my baby right here. I mean, I'm off of silver for the most part. Back here last year, when I was talking about, yesterday we were talking about my NEM trade, but I was talking about this trade right here, getting in at the same time. I saw this potential to go up ridiculous amounts, like 400%. And AGQ was the way to take advantage of that. I hyped people up for a good long bit. And it turned out that was a 350% upside on AGQ last year. Now, this year, the upside potential, not anything like that. I mean, maybe we get up to like 150%, but I don't think we're going to hit another 400%er. That'd be like up here in the stratosphere,
Ain't that
350%.
stratospheric now?
That'd have to be 740. We'd have to be up on the 750 area to get another 350% upside on AGQ, which is a 2x leverage on silver. I don't see that much more upside on this thing. So we'd be talking to get that kind of number, 350%, you'd have to do 170, like 160, 170% on silver itself. So 170% this year on silver. We're talking about going from right in here to pull off the chart here. We'd have to get all the way up to 200. Possible? That's another double from where we are today. And when you go
It's
look at the,
possible, but not without taking a break.
but look at this. Here's what gets interesting to me. So silver is now almost $5 trillion. So what does it take for silver to get, it actually should be 5 trillion. Yeah, 5.6 trillion. There we go. Refreshed it. $5.6 trillion. What does it take for silver to go to 200? It takes 5.6 trillion more dollars.
That's a huge ask.
And gold in the last is only gone from 30 trillion to 34 trillion. It has added almost 5 trillion in the last, 6 months. But, silver to double, that's another 5 trillion. And then however far it takes gold up with it. I mean, that's law of big numbers. Where does that much money come from? Does all of NVIDIA go into silver?
It's going to come from bonds or high tech that people are done with.
So, the biggest market out there is debt. The debt market is
Yeah,
bigger than any of this. And so if we're going to double silver, where does the money come from? That's just
bonds.
something to think about.
The debt market dwarfs the equity market, not even close. So I always think money would come out of fixed income to come into an asset that they think is going to really outperform fixed income.
And the crazy thing is that they talk about like fixed income and even money markets and that money sitting on the sideline, but money markets hadn't really flinched. It hadn't pulled back at all. It keeps growing right alongside gold and silver growing. So money coming off the sidelines narrative doesn't really make sense at all either. So where is the money going to come from to double silver? I don't know that it can do it. Now, popping on up to 120, that's reasonable. And we're talking about a 17% upside from where we are today. And AGQ, 17% upside from where we are today. Let's put this in, that'd be a 34% on this one. So we're not talking giant numbers higher here. We're going from 315 to 400. And that may be it.
Global tension, global money. Yeah, that 5 trillion could come from global investment. Dinosaur Skip says, yeah, that's possible. 5 trillion from a global market for sure.
Yeah.
But I'll just tell you, when I look at something like this, I don't care what the ticker is. I don't care what the global tension is. When I see stuff like silver like that, just my trained eye says short. And one of the reasons I like to do that is you rarely see something this parabolic. Rarely do you see something like that. And when you do, I want to short it. And one of the biggest reasons, or I could give you a lot of reasons. One, it doesn't stay. Nothing can stay that parabolic. It just can't and it won't. The other reason, the bigger reason is this gives me plenty of room for downside once something gets this hot. And the third reason, and maybe the most important, is stocks fall a lot faster than they go up. So however much time frame this took to get up there, this can come off in a couple, 2, 3 days. Yeah, the short side is really happens big and fast. So I like it. And rarely do I get to see something this overpriced, overbought.
Look at this chart. Doesn't that look a lot the same?
Exactly the same. I don't know anything about cocoa though.
Different market, different prices, but look what happened.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all I needed was that first one leg down. Thank you for showing me that. Yeah. Yeah, that looks a lot. Back that up again. We could make a little movie out of that. Yeah, that's sweet. So that's silver right
This
there.
is this is cocoa. I mean, this is what silver looks like right here, right?
That's
Everybody,
anything Jack says isn't going to stay up, right? You can put any symbol you want on it.
this is Western Digital. This is
Anything. It was what did I do it on Rigetti? Anything that looks like that to me, I want to short it.
and look how long this, and rip.
Bam.
And then, that wasn't the top though. Like,
That's okay. You see that first move down? That's all I would want. That's plenty big right there. I'll take that. Adios amigos right there. I'm in and I'm out. That's plenty big. I could care less what happens after that. But
and
that's normal.
that right there was a 40% pullback.
Mm,
If you were in something like AGQ, 40% pullback in the underlying would be like an 80% pullback in a leverage ticker. As you got to be careful. 50% pullback can be 100%.
look at that. That's probably what silver's going to do. Exactly that.
It chopped around. It made one last attempt, ran out of steam, and then guess what? The world won't pay higher prices for chocolate. And now we're down from 13,000 back down to
Wow.
4.
Wow.
So that right there is a 68% pullback. If you were in a leverage ticker, like if silver does a 68% pullback, AGQ double 68, 70%, 140% pullback, AGQ could go out of business, it could go bust. So how do you know when? That's the thing. You gotta wait. You gotta wait and be strategic about it. When you see it start to roll off, that's when you take your pot shots.
Couple lower highs.
And that's gave you a lower high, dip, pop back up, lower high, dipped again, and gave you an opportunity. Gave you a few days. But you got to keep up with these. You can't just like ignore it for 2 weeks and never check on it. Hops are a process. It made a process, still making higher highs, still making higher highs. Oh, made lower highs. It did it over here and then faked you out and came back. So you got to be careful. You can get ripped a couple times before you catch the big.
So when I do it, it'll have to have a couple of lower highs. And when I do it, I will do a debit spread on it. And I will select expirations for about 2 weeks out to give myself time to be right.
See,
But not today.
this one over here was better. Lower high, and then big avalanche. And we're still going down. This is just price action stuff. And I call it the bubble pattern. These bubble patterns, like, I mean,
That's
that's
it right
almost
there. That's silver right there, brother.
that's silver, that's cocoa, that's you name it, rigetti spaghetti. I mean, this is this is the way irrational markets behave. This is the way it works right here. Anybody talking, like everybody hyping gold and silver right now? We're all going to be rich. We're all geniuses. Think about it. How many people are talking about, like, I just got to tell everybody to buy more. Got to tell everybody to get in on gold and silver. Think about it. I hear people all the time saying, how much money they're making on gold and silver.
That's when
My neighbor talking about it. My neighbor doesn't trade.
I know that's always been a warning sign for me. You know, when uh, when you're hearing it from crazy sources.
Then you get this lower high. Just need to cool off and we can go make new highs again.
Yeah, the Uber driver's talking about how he's making more money on gold than he is driving Uber.
And
Right,
then
Chris? Yeah, that's when you gotta. But see, some things that aren't this parabolic don't really have that. There's a lot of stocks that have just trend, quietly more at a 45-degree angle, and they don't get that crazy. But anything that gets real spiky like this is gonna. Yeah, I like that. I like
see,
that.
this one's got a nice trend going. It's not going
That's
super
Jack right
parabolic. It's
there.
just,
That's what I like. Yeah, I like it. Don't wear me out. Don't be in the news all the time. Just quietly chug higher. That's my thing. Goog's not in the news like gold. People aren't screaming, buy more Goog. That's got Jack written all over it.
it seems like it's like this move was crazy, but it actually just caught back up to the trend.
That's all it did. It's been a laggard for so long. And, it's just quietly making new highs, higher highs and higher lows. It's not too crazy. It's just kind of wiggling its way higher.
It may
And
dip back
man, I
off of
love
the
that thing.
it may dip back off of the trend a little bit, but that's the so that you got to be careful. Like sometimes if you don't zoom out enough, it seems like this is going parabolic,
Right.
but it really just came back to the trend.
Yeah, that 45 degree, that's sustainable. You can do that for years. We saw AZO do it for years at a 45-degree angle.
And now it stepped off a
Volatility.
little bit,
Yeah. But that
took a
was
little
20
rest.
years, 20-year trend, right? I like that. That's easier for me than trying to pick bottoms and tops. I like to just buy high and sell higher.
Another one.
They all busted off. Yeah.
Yeah, it's this car part. We got a car part problem. There's a
For the first time in a long time.
and there's an industry shakeup. Somebody took advantage of this constant high move and did some shenanigans in the car part business, and now the car part suppliers are having a problem. So, but look at that. I mean,
Yeah, that's my thing right there. That's what I live for.
and this wasn't just a little move here. This went on
But
for
it took a long time. See, it didn't draw anybody's attention. That's 10 years, 20 years chart right there. Right? I like that. That is sustainable. It's all about kind of the angle too. I'm not a uh what is the guy that does angles? Not geology, geometry. I'm not a
geometry.
geometrist, but I can tell you when an angle's too sharp. Professor, thank you. I wouldn't make it on Jeopardy with you. I'd last about 2 seconds. You'd get them all right. But anyway, it's not geology, it's geometry. And when I see something, even Homer Simpson can tell you when it's spiked too hard. But this can quietly go on for years.
Yeah, this one, everybody like wondering what's happening right now, but you put this in perspective, and this is just a normal pullback that happens in NVO, Nora Novadisk. This is biotech pharma stuff. I'm not necessarily big, but on biotech pharma, but this one, solid performance, probably making a bottom and probably going to come back at some point. Another one in the same boat. These both have the GLP-1 drugs. Look at that
It's
baby.
been such a moneymaker for people over the years.
And this one's had a nice run going here. It took a rest for a number of years and then back on it.
I'll tell
So,
you another one did. Lockheed Martin, LMT.
one
What a
second.
dog this thing was until it wasn't.
Yeah, it's got a little more volatility the last
Yeah, yeah. But look
6 years.
back how it just been a dog last year. Didn't do anything.
Last year, dog, but long term, even with the swings, but it's coming back,
Mm-hmm.
coming back up to the top, up to the trend.
All right, I got a new one, kind of new. I'm in this one. Just full disclosure, I'm in this stock, but it's TMO. We got to put the professor to work on it.
Like your 6 month trend,
I'm
just chugging
long.
higher. Yeah, it's got a nice, fairly nice trend. Too expensive for me, but I'm not going to touch it because of the high price.
Yeah, I'm looking for it to break even higher from that top right there. Yep.
That was
Yep.
a beautiful,
Ram.
beautiful pullback.
Yeah,
Proportional.
price is hurting me because I can't do a lot of cash secured puts on that.
There's your target right up in here.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just a normal, might be a monthly pullback. Let's see. Oh, missed just barely. So it's a weekly chart pullback. And that's the target.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And clack, KLAC. I'm still in that one.
that's
That's
ripping
getting
on through
lofty though.
targets. Yeah, it's getting
Yeah.
lofty, it's ripe for another pullback, as I would say.
It sure is though, but I'm going to squeeze every ounce of sugar out of this thing I can, and then buy it back. So this one, I like this one. LRCX and MU are all three. Look at that trend, man.
But that's
I
just got
likes,
your.
that loves me that. That 45-degree angle, that is what's sustainable. This is gorgeous, gorgeous. But the price is a killer, for
You're
cash
getting
secured put.
and
Brutal.
getting a little over the skis here on this last couple weeks here.
Hmm.
Nice little pullback back into the
Yeah,
below 1,000 would be in order.
yeah. This is good. It's been pretty easy to buy it and sell it higher. Buy high, sell higher. And LRCX was the other one I'm doing in the same account.
Yeah, a little bit high flyer for me.
I know, man, too. I don't know. I keep taking profits and it drops back and I buy a little more and it just does it again. That last little wiggle right there at 150, I was doing it. And yeah, I like it.
And we're getting a little above the trend here.
We are. That one's a little flying a little too high. And then the third wheel in this little portfolio is MU.
And that was definitely going a little.
I don't know what to do, man. I just every time I think I got to sell it, which I did one time, and I got right back in again, and it looks too spiky for me. But I'm not going to take a downside debit spread on it. I'm just going to wait to get back in because this thing can fool you.
It just depends on which trend line we're going for. If
Yeah.
we zoom around out here a little bit.
This guy, he said the same thing Jensen said from NVIDIA when he said we're fully sold out, you know.
Well, these guys said they were getting out of this could come on back up to this trend line. That'd be a crazy move. But these guys said they were getting out of the consumer market.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking about that opportunity this morning. There's somebody that is stepping into the hole left by MU and it presents opportunity. And that company is SK Hynix. Now, there's not an easy way to get a piece of SK Hynix except this right here. This has kind of your trend going here, Jack.
Yeah, it does. A little lofty though, too. So much of this stuff looks good, but it's at the top, right? If this had a little pullback down there around 95 and then started back up, I'd be on it like stink on a monkey. But it's already running a little too rich, which is a lot of stuff.
This gets you exposure to two things that you can't really buy in the US market.
Ooh, Samsung.
Samsung,
Yeah,
which makes
that's a
memory,
great company.
and SK Hynix right there.
Yeah.
So
Samsung,
26% and 18%.
that
These are
guy,
both RAM producers right there.
Samsung, that guy's close to Jensen Wang, and the Hyundai guy is. I'm sure he knows the guy from SK.
Yeah, I'm sure. I
Wow.
mean,
I like that Korean ETF.
so EWY. Now, here's where it gets extra spicy. We can take EWY and we can 3x leverage it.
Mm.
Now, this one's a high flyer.
What's the beta on this cat?
The beta on this baby, 2.7.
How about on the EWY?
EWY, 0.92. And
All right, I
I'm not
like
sure.
quarter. How's volume? Daily,
So
good enough? Yeah.
daily volume,
Dang, man,
it's
that is too
light.
spiky. That's too,
It's light. I mean, you only have 100,000 shares of this get traded.
ouch. Yeah, when
This
this
would be,
comes down, look out. There won't be liquidity on the downside.
but
I
this
like
is
that.
like if you believe in more upside on, RAM producers, especially South Korean RAM producers, this is a way to take advantage of it because when you go look at what these guys hold, all they hold is EWI. And that, they're leveraging options on EWI to get their leverage. So if you wanted to take advantage of EWI, now this would not be one I would play options on at this high price. I would buy a share or some shares to get my exposure and get the leverage that way. Now, you could play EWI, but the options are kind of thin. So that's why I would look at something like KORU to get some leverage on it. And it's just like, this is some exposure type stuff, not a not a huge.
Good education of people. We don't normally go for stuff that doesn't have weekly options. That's a sign of not enough players.
So this is a way to get kind of leverage on it without, there's not a lot of people aware of this. That Samsung and SK Hynix are jumping into where the whole MU is leaving in the market. MU decided they aren't going to sell consumer RAM anymore. They're just going to go for people with big pockets, supply the data centers. Well, that leaves a hole, and Samsung and SK Hynix are set to fill the hole. Those aren't U.S. companies, so we can't really take advantage of it through U.S. normal ways. But EWI could be a way to fill that hole, and it's been on a tear. Like, this narrative has been going on. It just hasn't been anything anybody talked about. Like, that's
Yeah.
what's been going on right here.
I can't buy it right now. That, but I want to get in. But look at that. That's too sharp.
Yeah, it's working on a breakout here of the long term.
South Korea could be a great story this year.
Yeah, we're working on a breakout here and a new level up here in the long term trend. The short term, it does these little pops, but it's actually breaking out, so it may actually have enough energy to pop out and keep going. It's interesting. Anyway, so
Very much.
back
All right.
to
Back to the old MRAM. Oh, we're going to do TSLL?
we can talk about MRAM.
Yeah.
It's got a nice pop. Keep on going, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Cooled off today,
Yeah.
but it's had a really nice daily swing.
I told you it might come back down after it.
Yeah.
Like, this was starting to be the area where I was talking about it might come back down into the $8 area.
I've sold the 1250 puts and I'm long the stock. And I sold some ridiculous calls. 20 strike price calls or something really dumb. 25 something. What did I do? It was so high. Yeah, 25. I sold the MRAM 25 strike price calls.
Those are like, that's crazy.
I know. I got 42 cents for those. What are they going for now?
Still going for like 30 cents right now
Yeah.
for next month.
Oh, that's my trade right there. You talk about a good cash producing stock. You could sell a cash secured put in here for $2,000, right? Make some money. And if you
Yep.
don't get the stock, you do it again next week. And if you do, you sell calls against it.
And my cash producing stock for the week right here, lower priced.
Yeah.
I
How's
got
the
some.
beta holding up on this thing?
The beta is still 2.8,
Really good. That's beautiful.
even
That's
though it's done nothing for like 2 months. Beta still at 2.8. Juicy. I've been selling 11 strike puts. Just keep rolling them forward. I think I have a 1050 now on one account. Just keep rolling forward.
that's
You're able to get.
amazing that it has that beta when it's not really doing beta type moves.
Well, it's AI hype, baby. I mean,
Yeah, that's all it is. But the volatility in there doesn't justify the beta. No way.
so it's
Now, Lynn Adams, you're not supposed to tell me what the company does, or I'll talk myself out of it. I don't want to know what MRAM does. I know SoundHound has something to do with sound, but I don't want to know more than that. No, I really don't. I'll talk myself out of it. I talked myself out of Google when I first read about the IPO. I thought, oh man, like Netscape, another internet search browser company. Oh, big deal. This is going to be the biggest short of all time. That's what I thought of Google.
yep.
So I don't like to know, and I'm long Google. Everybody knows that. I'm long a bunch of it, but I don't want to know what they do because I'll more than likely talk myself out of it. So if I just look at what I see, I believe that the price tells you everything you need to know, and the trend will tell you everything you need to know. The trend is a big tell. It's giving away what's going on. So that's what I go by. I don't want to read it.
I keep selling puts on this one. Right down in here. About 20 strike. Looking for this to run up to 48, 40, 48, right in there. This is one I'm going after. I haven't talked much about it. I don't have a big position on it. It's just in a few of my like my parents' retirement accounts and stuff.
Yeah.
Look for a little.
Solar panels they sell.
I don't know. It's named Canadian Solar. I think they sell solar panels, but
They sell energy from solar. Who knows?
semiconductors is what it says. But I don't dive into it. I don't like the fundamental story doesn't matter to me. It's about this price pattern, and it's very similar to your MRAM pattern. Just this one's just on a daily chart instead of a weekly chart.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking for this last piece. This was the 3, and I caught a big piece of that. Selling puts. I never got put shares of this one, so I never had anything to brag on. I just sold puts all the way up in here. Took a break when we did this spike, and because this had the pattern down here.
That looks like it's going higher, man.
See, it had this pattern, that starting pattern I talk about, and then it did this move right there, right up to the 1618. Then it pulled back, just like I talked to him about MRAM doing. Now we're set to do a finality move, same size
I
as
like
wave
it.
1. Should be right in this area right here. And
Wouldn't you want
then
to go long a little shares just to catch the upside, or you just want to do all cash secured puts?
if the market gives it to me, great. If it doesn't give it to me, I make my 40%. Like, I'm not trying to be overly aggressive and put too much risk on it. This has been working for me, Jack. Like
No triple crown for you, huh?
this has been working for me, my man.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
this.
Stick with it. Stick with it. Don't listen to me.
I'm not trying to upset the pattern here.
Right.
I got a system down. It works for me. I can
You're right.
consistently do it.
Stick with your system.
And
Don't listen to me. Because you wouldn't have that growth. If you don't have a long position, if you just trade options without ever touching the stock, you're going to have a better growth pattern.
yeah, I
Right.
mean that's I get these big. I do get some share appreciation, and it makes these nice pops in here occasionally if I get it really, really right. But I've had shares in here too, and just selling upside calls, and they're not popping. So when I get one and it pops, I get one of these. But what you don't see in here is the constant grind on all the other things that I actually got put that haven't got called out. So it goes both ways. Like I could go buy shares, and then I'm stuck in here grinding, trying to
Well,
make the money.
you'd have a more volatile growth curve for sure. Right. Like
Yeah.
what I have.
So
But I get greedy. I'll just admit it. If I see something I have a high conviction on, I will do three things. I'll buy shares, just so everyone knows. I'll buy the stock, couple 500,000. I'll sell some calls against part of that long position, and the other part I will leave uncapped because I want to see it rip from 23 to 53. And then in addition to that, just to create cash flow because I'm want it, I'd sell more cash secured puts at around $20.
now, quite honestly, it didn't show up on my radar until around October. So I actually missed this. So instead of chasing, I just started selling puts and sold puts and sold puts and sold puts every week until we did this. And then I laid off of it. And then the last 3 weeks or so, I've been selling puts again right here at this $19, $20 area.
So if it rips to 53, you wouldn't have any fear of missing out.
I don't like, there's another one. There'll be another one. I've got like 6 or 8 of these actually that I'm going after. So it's like, if I miss one, no big deal. I got another one. I got another one. There's no shortage of these.
I
So
guess, for me though, just that portfolio I have of stocks that I hold that have been trending higher, that's been really good to me, man. That's been a really real big money maker. No cash flow, just price appreciation, but I like that too.
yeah, you and I sit here and we talk about opportunities all the time. We talk about the same set of them over and over, but I actually have a broader repertoire of tickers that I'm looking at. I
Mhm.
just, I'm not always high conviction. I'm not always putting big positions on them. Like HPQ, like I was talking about that one, but I only have 200 shares at risk here. And it's dipping down back down to lows again. Like, I've got my initial position here.
Cool.
I've got the 21 sold against it for next week. I'm out to the next week on the 21. If this pops back up, I'll get called out. If it stays in here, I'll sell again and sell again and sell again. If it dips down here, I'll look at building more position because I went into it already with the downtrend in mind that I might need to dollar cost average and build the position a little bit lower. Maybe I wasn't quite at the bottom yet. So this is the plan that I have. I've already got all this plan in my head. It's that's why I don't have an alert service around it or anything like that. I just demonstrate this for everybody. And I demonstrate it publicly. I mean, HPQ is right here in the log. If you look at the trades, where I got put, HPQ is right in here, right there. There's the trade. 22 cents, 2 contracts. Right there it is. I got put. So there you go.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Next week,
Oh,
folks, we got options expiring Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on a couple of stocks. So
yeah.
definitely tune in Monday. Tell all your friends over the weekend to be here Monday. We're going to have a whole new way to create cash flow on shorter term options.
Big change coming
And
to
Jeffrey will have the code cracked, so we won't have to do any reading or work. We'll just listen to him, and he'll have us all set up and spoon fed cream of the crop options trades.
there are 9 new stocks that'll have 3 times a week options starting next week.
Can't wait. Can't wait. I might lose sleep over this.
And I have a system we're offering a special discount on ahead of this that takes advantage of 7 out of the new 9 stocks.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, takes advantage of 7 out of those new 9 stocks that'll have 3
What's
times a
it
week
called?
options.
I want it.
It's called Triple Threat.
I'm in.
And Blake is going to play the replay for that here in
Sign
just
me
a
up,
moment.
Blake. Charge it to my credit card. I already know I want it.
Although I said, give him 5 minutes, so he'll be back in just a second. But
Oh, that's cool.
those stocks that are adding the new expirations. Let me grab it. I'll show the. Let me grab it out of the list here. Pull it up. Open image in a new tab. Pull this over. So we've got Tesla, Nvidia, Apple, iBit, Amazon, Meta, AVGO, which is one of Jack's favorites, Google, iBit we talked about today, and Microsoft here.
Mm.
So the 7 that I'm going to be covering in my system, Tesla, Nvidia, Apple, Amazon, Meta, Google, and Microsoft. Those 7, I will have an opportunity now starting next week to take advantage of those new options.
Wow. Dude, I can't wait.
Well, we talk about
It's
this, Frank, we're here every single day, Jack and I. So
yeah.
if you stumbled on us, welcome to the show. We try to make a little bit, show how we're making a little bit of money every day in the market and just consistently get after it.
Yeah. Just know we're not going to be buying these options. We're probably going to be mostly selling them. But that creates, I love how the options market keeps creating new product for us. The biggest thing they've ever done for me in my life was weekly options. I used to do credit spreads, and I could only do them once a month because options expired on the third Friday of the month. So when that changed, I went from being able to do them once a month to 4 times a month. Now you see these short termers, they just keep giving us more and more and more opportunity.
All right,
So
Blake, we're ready, baby.
let a fire in the hole, baby. See you guys
So
Monday.
ready, huh? All right, here we go.